What up?
There
Boom.
we go.
Man, we're back, baby. Yeah, we are back.
I need your headset on, man. You're super quiet.
Yeah, hold on. I'm still fidgeting around with things. I'm in the game though, so you should be able to invite me.
Oh, I was just there. No, Red Man offline. Fire McLovin. Where you at,
Oh, that's
dog?
me. Fire McLovin ain't
Because
there.
you're not online.
Well, this is a bunch of bullshit. The hell, dude?
Look
I don't get it. I
at that
don't get it.
beautiful redhead beard.
Let me just try you. So we'll go to the reverse.
Okay.
Uh, what are you? What is your name?
It should just be my original, the
Oh, dude, it's
MRJ.
annoying because you have to have this stupid ass battle tag thing. So what is your actual battle tag? Do you have that?
Getting dicey, man. We're friends. We play on BattleNet.
Getting
Um,
dicey. I know we're friends, but it
Let
says
me
you're
switch.
offline too. I got you. It's Matt PSU.
Yeah, that's it.
Uh, dude, that's so annoying.
Hmm. Maybe it's on a
LeMay.
here. Let me change world tier.
Oh, that's probably what it is.
Let's see if that
I'm
has
on
anything to
World
do with
Tier
it.
4 though. Are you on the top tier?
I'm on 4, but
Yeah, I'm on 4 too.
it
Let me
shows you
reset.
as offline. That's weird.
Yeah, let me reset my PlayStation just to see what the hell is going on here. We got some people watching. Welcome to the show, peeps.
Yep, yep.
Welcome to the show. Oh man, this is so good to be streaming again, bro.
Oh, I missed it. I missed it.
It's so good to be streaming again. Whoa. Look at this. I got the little Cali palm trees in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, baby. Look at this stupid ass headset decides the work would be nice. All right, so
All right.
where are you at? What level are you at?
I am level 64. I am seeing Redman PSU is offline on
Well, hold
BattleNet.
on. I just restarted and I'm gonna jump back in. Please, peeps, ask us anything if you want to know anything.
Yup.
This is just a chill vibe and hangout time. I'm not seeing any comments. I don't know if you are.
I don't see anything.
Yeah. So what's nice about this platform is it'll bring up comments from
YouTube.
all of the platforms.
Oh, that's cool.
In what? So you go under the comments tab, you'll see like there'll be a comment, and then the icon is next to the comment.
I like that.
All right, bro. I'm
Uh,
back in. I'm on World Tier 4, and it's still saying we're offline. Well, this is a success so far.
you know what? This is we're back to true streaming at this point.
Uh,
This brings
so
me
what
back.
is your battle tag is Matt PSU, you think?
Matt MRJ one, yeah, MRJ something PSU.
Why don't you just remove me as a friend and add me back in to see if that works?
Okay. All right. Let's take a look. Well, let me search add friend. All right.
All right.
What are you what is your tag?
What is my tag? It is Redman PSU. Uh, Redman PSU.
And then it's like number 1256.
Yeah. All
All right. Did you get a little request? I mean, it still shows you're offline.
Yeah, but even then, I should still see a request if you send it, you know?
Here, I'm going to put. Does it show me online now?
Yes, it does.
Send me an invite.
Boom, baby. What did you do?
I had my settings as appear offline, but it's supposed to still let you send stuff. Like Tony was able to send me stuff fine. That's weird. All right, we good.
Yeah, that is bizarre. Nice.
So,
Let's do it.
where are you at?
So I'm level 91, dog.
Oh, okay. There we
I
go.
have just been crunching. I am a Blizzard Sork, and it is so much fun to play.
That's awesome. All right, head up here to the world tier statue and let's increase it.
World Tier 4 is the top.
I know, but right now, what are we on right now? Oh, we're on world tier 4. Okay.
Yeah,
Fine.
you can't go any higher. Do I sound better now? My headset should be working.
No, you still sound quiet.
That's fucking weird. Well, no one's commenting, so I don't know if I sound quiet to the audience or not,
Yeah,
or if it's
we'll make it
just
work.
you.
We'll make it work. I can also this. There you go. I just turned you up manually.
Yeah, there you go. I think that'll probably help out.
There we go. All right. So, man, I got a lot of junk in here. You seeing all this gear? Look at this gear. Nothing's looking good though.
Oh, that's why. Huh. Stupid.
Oof. Yeah, we're gonna have to start getting rid of some of this stuff.
Okay, what are we doing here, bruh?
Well, let me get rid of. I need some space in my inventory, or I'm in trouble here. So
Dude, it
we'll
is
do.
gorgeous here today.
That's always nice.
How's it? How is it in good old Florida?
It's it's been hot out. We've been getting thunderstorms every day, which is pretty normal for Florida, but
It's
it's
super
kind of
humid.
gray out now. Let me see here. I'll show you in just a second.
You're a necro, right?
Yep.
I have no clue where you are. Gotta travel to you.
I'm at the blacksmith.
Yeah, so I mean, I got all of the ancestral uniques pretty much that I need, of course. Uh,
What?
yeah.
Of course
Mikey
you
G
have.
RNG, baby. If anybody used to watch back in the day, there was a thing called Mikey G RNG.
Yeah.
I was always popping off the things that I needed.
You've got it
Yeah,
all, man.
for this build, I needed these things called Isu heirlooms boots in this tall Rasha's iridescent loop, which is a
You got the
pain in the ass to get. But it dropped on a random monster, dude.
That's
Most
wild.
people have to farm bosses. Like there's a 1% chance it drops on just like a
Of
rando,
course.
and that's what I got.
Of course.
That's how I got it.
So where
Oh.
what do you want to do then? Do you want to just do hell rifts?
So
Because I need to level up, man.
have you gotten to the actual their version of Rifts?
No.
They exist. But it only makes sense if your level probably like your items over 900, and then basically what you do, it's the same thing as a rift, like you got to get to the boss by a certain amount of time, and then it gives you
Mm,
these eggs that then you apply to a specific weapon to make that weapon more powerful. So if you
I
don't have the
see.
gear that you need, they're
Yeah,
pointless
I'm
to
not
play.
there.
All right, so I'd say the quickest things are, yeah, we just crunch hell rifts,
What
and
about this?
veteran dungeons are worth it too.
Okay. What about this Wolf's Honor level up? Return to Solde the Anvil?
Yeah, go
When
back there because the caches that you get are pretty solid.
all right,
So
take a
that's
look.
just part of the seasonal quest. You know, the other thing we can do too is just start ripping out seasonal journey things to get all of the loot.
Okay.
So there's Tria Whispers too. So like the Tria Whispers is their version of Diablo three's bounties, basically.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, you
yeah.
have to
I've done a couple of those.
right, and so those are, dude. OG Cryptor is in chat, dog. OG
Nice.
Cryptor. He said he's lived long enough to see this come full circle. We're here, buddy, and we appreciate that you're here. This is amazing, isn't it? So catch me up, Maddie, while we're messing around, bro. You gotta let me know. Everybody misses the hell out of you. Give me the deets, dog. Give me the deets.
So how far back are we going?
I mean, listen, let's go all the way back. We had what
Okay.
where this is how we go far back. We had to take a break because Mikey G, Kid Capri had a son, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
That's what happened, and that's when things started shifting. He's 10 months old now, so we got some time to cover while we crunch these hell riffs, which are amazing, by the way. Oh,
There we go.
make sure you get a potion and everything on.
Oh yeah.
I like the holy bolt ones, although
I
I
don't have a lot of that
use
stuff. I'm just
I
using
use the
anything to get the
momentum. I actually get an XP or damage boost the faster I am. So I use the
mm,
momentum potions.
I only have so many. Oh, elixir of momentum.
There you go, man.
Boom, crushed it. Let's do it. So I'm in the area I'm supposed to be, but I don't know where I actually go. So yeah, man. Yeah, you had a kid, and I went to Italy for like 3.5 months, um, which was
Tell
amazing.
me a little
And
bit about the Italy situation. Some of your favorite things, some of your favorite places. Hit me.
so first thing that happened is landed in Rome and took the first month just driving around just the whole land, like the boot of Italy, right? Saw Amalfi Coast all the way up to Milan, Alberobello. Got to see a good chunk of the mainland, all the big destinations, Florence, Venice. But then I got to see a lot of the ones most people don't get to see. So things like Cinque Terre, Lago di Brais were really, really amazing and memorable for sure. But the whole trip was fantastic. It was just a great time. And then
Yeah.
I just lived in Rome for a couple months, and that was amazing.
Are
So
you
uh,
crunching while you're talking, or has it been
I'm
so
cr-
long you can't multitask?
I'm crunching. I have to do this quest thing. So
Oh, okay, okay.
I'm trying to find. I have to return to
I thought
sold
10
the
months had gotten
anvil.
to you to the point where you couldn't multitask, game, and talk anymore.
No, 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 just trying to figure out. I don't know where this Oh, is this it?
What are you
This it?
looking for?
Cultist Den. There's something green here
Uh, I'm not seeing a den, dog.
right
I'm not
here.
seeing anything green.
Oh, all right. Maybe it's just for me then. Let's find out.
Yeah, it's
But
totally just for you because it's not on my map. Which is all
all right,
good. Go for
let
it.
me knock this out real quick. So
Yeah.
yeah, man. Lived in Rome. It was fantastic. I never really lived international like that. I was worried that the language would be more of a barrier, but I'd been practicing for a bit, and obviously having Mediana there was amazing. So it really helped out, um, and that got me through it. I mean, it was just an amazing, amazing time. And then I came back to Florida, made the move to actual like downtown Tampa, which is where I'm at now, and picked up a new job and working on that and building a little portfolio of rental properties, man. It's just one step at a time. It's been fantastic. I have no complaints or anything like that. It's been a wild ride, man. But one thing I can say for sure is I miss this, man. I miss this a lot. And it was just so hard to get schedules coordinated. And obviously, you know, we're dealing with multiple time zones because we're 3 hours apart. And so just kind of making that work has been its own little effort, as you know. And I'm just ready to crunch, man. That's really what it
Yeah.
comes down to. I feel fulfilled life wise. You know, I accomplished a lot over the last period of time, and it's just kind of cool to see it all work. You know,
Yeah,
so
for
I'm
sure.
hoping to see some of this stuff come to fruition and make it happen.
Yeah, and I mean, I would say the other thing that's really difficult is when you add a young one into the a mix, your schedule drastically
Oh yeah,
reduces. So
for
at this
sure, man.
point, and to reiterate, we posted about this, we talked about this. Um, we streamed consistently for what? I mean, we're going on 3 years at this point. So let's say 2.5 years. We consistently streamed for 2 years straight. Really barely missed a day, right?
Hmm.
And we agreed we were doing particularly Web3 founders,
Hmm.
and building a media company in the Web3 space is extremely difficult. So that's when we branched out on the Mikey G Web3 thing and then using Midlife Crisis as the podcast brand. And I think it's worked really well in the Web3 space. What we're going to continue to concentrate on the rest of the year is how do we bridge the gap on YouTube with the Midlife Crisis brand,
Hmm.
but still keep because we're starting to monetize in the Web3 space. That was another thing that we had to get serious about. It's like, listen, we can't do this for free forever.
Yeah.
We need to start making some money because we're putting a lot of time, blood, sweat, and tear and effort into this, right? Uh, and I think if we continue to build the relationships, and I can't wait to have you back because I think we have a great yin and yang balance that we always talked about. Last
Hmm.
night was phenomenal, dude. Like JR, this guy from Oni Force, which was I don't know if you remember, they were actually the first anime side PFP before Azuki was a thing.
Yeah.
Uh, they were called Oni Force right around the Hate Beast time. Super cool looking stuff, and he was the co-founder. And bro, he had some stories. But I thought about you thinking if we had Maddie, it would just be that much more of a fruitful conversation. But I love what we do. I love what we do. And what's cool is the Web3 space is getting mature. And
Hmm.
yes, is there more scams and rugs and all of those things? Absolutely. those are never going to stop in the space because there's just so much money to be made.
Yeah.
But at the same time, people are wising up and we're getting real entrepreneurs on that are thinking about building companies and utilizing Web3 technology and NFT technology as a feature. It's not the business, right? And
Yeah.
so it's really cool, man. I mean, I'm excited. People are starting to recognize it, and I feel momentum. Whereas before, I felt like we are kind of beating our head against the wall. But we knew this, and I think the best thing that we did, and I was talking about this on the podcast last night. I had a presentation I had to give last week, and it was to like the VP, and I kind of ran through our monthly updates and
Hmm.
of course, I had to create the presentation because no one else wanted to. And when I was done, I had multiple people reach out and they're like, "How did you get so good at speaking? Like, that was incredible." And I was like, "I got a little tip for you. Just start a podcast and talk to nobody for years on end. It helps out, helps out a lot."
Right.
And that
Well, I
is
mean, but
really,
and we it's not like we started interacting with people just from the podcast. I mean, both of us had years of experience just even corporately and professionally doing that. But in terms of
yeah,
the laid back ability to pull a conversation out of what sometimes can be very little, sometimes not, right? Just depends on the guest.
yeah.
It definitely was honed over the years of the podcast for sure. And real quick, also, Crypto, I'm seeing your comments here finally now. Sorry about that, but yeah, you were. I don't know if 1% life was there, but what I learned is your dollar goes a lot farther in Italy than it does in America, so that really helps. It was definitely felt like 1% life there. That's for sure. The food was definitely 1% life, no question, and just it was amazing. I mean, Rome's amazing, and then you were talking about, in terms of just overall 3 months, it was for me a big deal. Mike's done a lot more travel than I have. I've done a lot of travel within the U.S., but international travel I haven't done a bunch, and so that was a really cool experience for me to get that exposure and just really see how other places in the world are living and trying to make it, man. We're all trying to make it. So it was a really cool experience for that reason. It also made me really appreciate one of the things that I think is unique that people talk about is there is a hustle mentality that is unique to American culture. Now we all want to make it. Now, some of it is delusion, right? People think they're going to make it, but they're not doing anything to make it. But this idea that like you can do more is I didn't realize how unique that really was to our culture, which I thought was kind of cool. But
Yeah,
yeah, man, amazing time. And to Mike's point, you know, the key is to take everything we've learned now and bring it to a culmination where we can, as Mike said, really just monetize it and make some money doing it, because that is the long term goal that has to be there. So
100%.
um,
And
yeah, in
it's the
terms of
thing. Go ahead.
and to answer your last question, to put the career on hold, the answer is I changed careers. And so I have my real estate license, but I had to make a pivot, and that pivot allowed me to both move to Florida, get involved with some real estate stuff there, and then step away because I had sold some properties, was able to bank some money, and then I knew I was going to be starting a new gig when I got back from Italy. So I just used that period of time between to basically fund my life and fund my life in Italy, and it worked. So um, it was one of those I had to trade losing a little bit of momentum, but Mike was already going to be busy becoming his family was growing, right? So I knew he was going to be out of the game a little bit, and I just took that window of time and capitalized it. So that's what I did. So
Yeah, and it's a
yeah.
smart. I'm excited to go back there someday and get the local tour, man. I can't imagine how amazing that was because I've always said that when I get to travel, I want to go to the dive spots. I want to go to the places where, by the way, the boss is up in the Hell Rift.
Cool. I'll head to you.
I want to go to the places that it's down here. Um, the locals want to go to,
Yeah.
and you got that experience, which is amazing. And then OG also
Oh, dude.
asked, how are we monetizing? So we went through like many different forms so far. There was the $100 a month for years on end, uh streaming video games to nobody. So we made a solid, not even $100 a month. It was like $100 here, $100 there. For the first year, I would say maybe in total we made $500. Then the second year, that's when I found NFTs. That's when I lucked out and became a mod at Hate Beast, which was this crazily hyped project. And then we made that pivot harder core into Web3. We stopped streaming. We started the interviews. Well, stopped streaming video games, and we started streaming, interviews, which I think by far is one of Maddie and I's superpowers. And we
Yeah.
we think differently. We complement each other really well, and it was working really well. And what was working really well too at the time was crypto was popping, right? So we're talking about getting NFTs that were tens of thousands of dollars. And since we had I just died, of course. Since we had a media entity that was different from the competition, because everybody was just, false hype pumping these narratives that everybody else was doing. We were having these deep format, genuine conversations. One of our first really big breaks was, we got Digimental on the show,
Mhm.
who started Hate Beast, and then the next one was Phantom Network and Dex, and he became a buddy that although has dropped off the face of the map. But you know, we're talking about influencers that had hundreds of thousands of followers, and we're sitting at a measly, 2,000 followers, right? Are you dead?
I'm dead.
Oh, gotcha. We're sitting at a measly 3 or 4,000 followers. But even back then, people were recognizing our content as unique and different.
Mhm.
And so, these top influencers getting hundreds of thousands, that have hundreds of thousands of dollars, charging multiple Ethereum to get a Phantom Network on the show, they are getting like 5 pre-sale spots. We got 20, and that was because Dex and team, the core team, understood the value of what we provided, and they enjoyed.
Yeah.
And Maddie, you remember? Probably one of the craziest times we had was giving away these pre-sale spots
Oh my gosh.
and people flooding our Discord because everyone knew that if you got a pre-sale Phantom Network spot, it was going to sell for multiple ETH no matter what.
Yeah.
And it
It was
did. And
guaranteed. It was guaranteed $10,000 in your pocket if you just got one of these spots.
guaranteed. Yeah. And then we didn't know what we were doing. So we convinced ourselves, oh, yeah, we should buy multiple more at 3 ETH 4 price. And now they're worth nothing, like most people did. Right. And
Yeah.
so that was the way we really started getting some cash, and got the streaming computer for me because I was running it from my computer. And then it died off, and then we basically had what we would just went through, and we talk about that, separating the brands. And now that I'm using my Web3 presence that started way back in the day, there's still value in the Web3 space of this genuine human connection. And the goal is to get it uh, outside of Web3. But over the last 6 months, I've made some pretty interesting connections. And, some of them, there's more business opportunities. But right now, the monetization is really the podcast and the cutting up of content. Um,
Yeah.
and then just being recognized as a creator to create some video content. So that's it right now. but there's lots of opportunity when it comes to education and helping people create their own brands, podcasts, consulting. You know, we've learned a lot over the last 2 or 3 years, and so once that picks up, in addition to when we do get profits, I'm going to lean heavily on Maddie to start doing some real estate shimmy,
Yeah,
shimmy, jammy, jammies.
and
And
that's, I
once
think,
we,
the part that is important to note is, because crypto, you were saying just keep pivoting, keep doing things. Our final goal has always been pretty much the same. Um, it's just finding the vehicle to get us in a position to be able to invest adequately there.
right, right. And they
So
and the to that point, Maddie, you know, we when we started this whole thing, we didn't even know what we were gonna do. We
yeah.
were, I always say this when um I talk to new people, because it's funny. I think one of the things that happens, even in, you're starting a podcast, right? Or you're starting video game streaming, and we've talked about this a lot in the past. You know what the number one thing is that I spend my time on? Talking on the phone, selling us as a brand and a creative
Hmm.
entity that people need. It is literally just sales, right? The
Yeah.
stream is the fun part. You know, the stream is the really, really fun part. But as far as business and monetization, that is the very difficult part. And we've been working with it. And to Cryptor's point, you just said we've already pivoted many times, and we'll continue to pivot. But I do know one thing for sure: our format of podcast interviewing founders, the way that we do,
Hmm.
it is very hard to replicate, and every rep that we put in, we get better and better. I literally said to Jr. last night, who was on our podcast, I think it was the best podcast I've had by far to date. I mean, it was phenomenal. I literally told a grown man that I've known for about 4 hours, I genuinely loved him at the end of the podcast. I mean,
There
I,
you
I
go.
literally ended my recap comments. I'm like, dude, this is gonna sound incredibly awkward, but Jr., I absolutely actually love you right now. Like, I mean that heartfelt. Like, you are a great dude, and we are gonna continue to grow. And the one thing that I think, it's been really hard because, now we've got the family, we still both have careers, we're not doing this full time.
Yeah.
um I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid of just quit everything, you're going to make it, which I think is out of control for most people's. It makes sense in some scenarios,
Yeah, there's
doesn't
a time and a
currently make.
place.
Yeah, it currently does not make sense in mine. um but what I'm getting at is the thing that we've underutilized, and what we're going to get better in the future, is the network that we have cultivated over the last 2+ years is pretty insane. You're going to be far fetched to find some other people, particularly in the Web3 space, of networks that we've cultivated. So making sure that we're following up, utilizing that network appropriately, that's going to help exponentially grow in the
Mhm.
future as well. But, have we made mistakes? Many of them. We'll continue to do it.
Yeah.
But, you know, I always say we could have a lot more money in the bank account, and we could be a lot further ahead, but we're not, because you learn and you live.
Well, and we also weren't willing to compromise certain standards, and that's a thing. I mean, listen, that's life, right? I mean, you get to a point where sometimes you're presented with opportunities and you're like, man, this isn't who I am, but I could make a lot of money doing this. And
Right.
up to you to choose what you want to do in that moment. That's just the reality. It is what it
Yeah.
is. So,
Yeah. And I say this often on the podcast too, right? We could, um, if I could go back in the DMs, the amount of, hey, if you tweet this out,
hmm,
don't know who you are, don't know what it's about, but for one tweet, I will give you $1,000. And I say no. I'm not going to do that. And most people would say, Yes. And so we're going to stick to our guns because I really do think building the brand the right way. And ironically enough, that narrative is really starting to happen.
Yeah.
Using again last night, this guy at the height of Oni, in 8 days, they went from uh, not really having tons of extra money to having $110 million of volume go through their project in
Phew.
8 days, bro.
Yeah.
And that guy who, you know, whether unless you're Elon Musk, man, no one's ready for that. From going from basically a starving artist, an art teacher, to I now have somehow created $110 million in revenue in 8 days. Like no one's
Oh,
prepared for that. And so
yeah, dude. I mean,
obviously
yeah.
there was a excruciating fall from grace from that, to the point where he shared, man, last night he literally went to Palm Springs. It was intense, man. He was like, I went to Palm Springs. Old fashioned was my favorite drink. I had a plan, and that was it. That was the last night I was going to be on Earth. And he met a group of Marines that saved his life.
That's
And
wild.
because at that moment in time, man, that was in less than a year, going from that high to the lowest low. And he was getting death threats. He was getting
Oh, yeah.
someone doxed his address. Like it was intense, right?
Hmm.
And he had convinced multiples of his friends to spend tens of thousands of dollars on these PFPs. Like he was in a bad sitch. But that guy, and what I'm getting at is that guy went through all of this, and he somehow still yet came back from Web3, and it was like he came back to Web3 and he was like, you know what? I've learned a lot, and I
Hmm.
want to make sure that I build it the right way. I'm not going to build the hype machine. He's a genius marketer, man. Did an incredible job building hype, obviously. I mean,
Yeah.
the dude got Gary Vee in his Discord. Like, he did that. Uh,
Jeez.
if you can get Gary Vee in your Discord,
That's it.
you're doing it
Yeah.
with
It's like
crypto
getting Michael
popping off.
Jordan to your basketball practice.
Yeah, with getting crypto popped off the way it was popping at the time, and Gary Vee in your Discord, like game over. You're gonna sell out that collection in seconds, which he did.
Hmm.
But now, with all of that being said, he still believes, and I still firmly believe in this. Yes, the technology is revolutionary and it will change the world, but it is also a revolutionary way to interact with community. And if you build it right over a long term period of time, really cool things can happen. And that is why he came back, because he recognizes that power too.
Sure.
And
And I think that's
so,
why a lot of the real thing, the real potential moving Web3 forward, we've been saying this on our podcast for a long time, it has really been that the whole time, you know. Um, it's not going to be the flash in the pan thing. It's always going to be what this does for a community. And by the way, transparency, which is huge, right?
right.
Because that's the probably one of the fundamental just like downfalls to traditional social media
What are
is
we doing, by the way,
it's
bro?
manipulative. But that world boss isn't coming up for 27 minutes, so I was going to head
Yeah.
left here into the Hell Rift
All right, let's do Hell Rift.
and just start crunching.
Yeah, but transparent in general just is just a critical principle to life. And
Yeah.
what's actually interesting about what he's doing with his new projects is he's also being self-aware, because as weird as it sounds, and it's still crazy to me to think about. So, NFTs are dead, been dead for a while. I don't know if they'll ever come. I don't think they'll ever come back to what we saw and the money and Maddie and I had at our fingertips. That will never happen again. What has taken place is meme coins, right? And I mean meme coins in the crazy sense that people are blindly posting contract addresses, and people are sending thousands of dollars to a wallet from some random person that's not doxxed on Twitter, hoping that they become a billionaire overnight, which is just ludicrous, right?
Yeah.
But people want it, dude. They openly know it's an absolute scam 99% of the time, but they keep on throwing thousands of
But
dollars at this.
that's not new, man. Look at scratch off. Look at the lottery.
Yes,
I
yes,
mean,
right.
like everybody playing the lottery deep down knows they're not going to win. But there's that like one little chance. What if it was? And that's all it
Yes,
is. That's the
yeah,
nature of it. I
yeah.
need to get revived if you can revive me.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, but what I'm getting at, yes, this is Diablo 4 is one of our favorite games of all. Diablo in general is one of our favorite games of all time. Uh, that's Cryptor just asked that. But
Nice.
what I'm also the point I'm trying to make is, as crazy as that sounds, the space still needs it because it generates cash.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that keeps it
It's
sustainable. And so
it's the reason lottery isn't banned,
yeah,
right?
and
It
so
makes money.
he's
A lot of it.
smartly has created this company called the District, and what he's smartly done is each district represents a community in Web3 and crypto that makes it sustainable. So he literally has a district of shitcoin meme coin traders because they make up part of the space. You know,
Yeah.
he has a district for influencer creative people. He has a district for the devs. He has a district for the founders. Uh, he has a district for literally community members that are there. The man is one of our prime examples of our OG community. Still to this day, comments on all of our stuff, and he is just, you know what he is? He's a serial supporter, and
Yep.
that is fine. And you need those, and he has a district for that too. So I think it's a really smart business model in the sense that uh, you're able to still have the narrative that I care, I'm going to build it right. Community is number one. I want genuine connections, but I also am not going to alienate the people in the space that have helped get it to this point. And I think that's a genius move. So it'll be really interesting to see how that evolves. And it will just be interesting to see how the space evolves, and really interesting to see how we can continue to have these podcasts, and when the time links up, have Maddie and I both on screen. And I'm really excited over the next 6 months to see how we can start monetizing in different ways.
Yeah.
Uh, and I feel it, man. I feel a energy around the content and the feedback that I've been getting over the last 6 months that I haven't heard before. And some of the connections that we've made, I think, are some of the most solid connections we've ever made. So I'm super pumped about it, man.
Absolutely. And to your point, Mike, I mean, so does feeling it mean something's going to happen? Well, no. But I'll
Right.
say this, it's certainly a prerequisite for any of the major breakouts you hear. When you
Yeah.
hear something about like, hey, this person made it here, they all had those moments and then just they persisted. And
Yep.
again, still not a guarantee, but
Yep.
man, it's such a big indicator, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. We had a
Um,
we had a 20-minute conversation on persistence last night.
yeah,
Discipline
big
and
deal.
persistence are
Big deal.
are I think the number one thing that you can do. And we also had the conversation that we've talked about often is um, I get so frustrated when I hear people say, let's take persistence and discipline, for instance.
Yeah.
The only way to build these traits is to do X, Y, and Z, and they make it really black and white. When in reality, that's not the case, and everybody works differently. Really, the formula and the equation they're trying to figure out is what is that thing that works for you to help you stay persistent. And we had a good conversation around just the different things that are out there and what worked for him. Uh,
Yeah.
I always go back to this. I think, and we've talked about this often. I've literally been dubbed Yo-Yo Mike at sometimes because I have a bajillion ideas. I love being creative. I love thinking of new things. And, we're going on 3 years of solid consistency on content creation, podcasting, just being in front of a camera, doing the reps. And I attribute my number one reason for persistency is I found something that I'm good at, that I think I naturally have a knack for, and I absolutely love it. It's something take all the money away, man. I will do this till the to the day I die. Like I
Hmm.
just love learning and talking to people. And so when I have the bad days and when 10 minutes before the stream, I'm like, I don't fucking want to do this. I always tell myself, if you do this, you're going to be thankful at the end of the day. And sure enough, I've never not been thankful.
Yeah, and you hit on them. I mean, I know you don't like the black and white principles, but I think on the broad strokes there are some. I think the
Oh,
micro, like
there are.
here's your recipe, but ultimately, like what is discipline? It's essentially listening to yourself even when it's hard, right? I mean, as like,
Yeah.
and you just described it perfectly by saying, "Man, I don't really want to do this, but I know I'm gonna like it after."
Yeah.
Pick anything in your life that's like that. I mean, hey,
Yeah.
I don't really want to eat this, but I'd rather have a donut, but I'm going to
Yeah.
do this because I have a goal, right?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
listening to what you know you should do versus what you want to do. That, I mean, encapsulates the concept of discipline. It's just doing things that you know you need to do even when you don't want to.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and 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 then persistence is like doing that every day. But I think
Yep.
where people can relax is you don't have to go full like David Goggins and run 3 miles or
We literally
28
talked
miles,
about David
you
Goggins.
know. And look,
Yeah.
for some people, whatever. But to your point, like it's not a one size fits all. Even if
Right.
each day, and even if you have days where it's zero, like if you could just consistently say, hey, you know what? Yeah, I didn't run 28 miles, but man, I got 4,000 steps in, and that's like, or I chose to take the stairs, or I parked a little further away. You know what I mean? These are the type of things that like lead doing that consistently lead to like major life habits being, accomplished. So I don't know. I think it's
Yeah.
you just have to find those areas even professionally.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to be clear. It's not that I don't believe in black and white. I absolutely believe in black and white. Discipline is discipline. What I was getting at is
I'm dead.
I don't like when people there's narratives out there because someone has wrote a book and they're like, at the end of the day they're trying to make money, so they convince you
Oh
if
yeah.
you do X, Y, and Z, you will be
Yep.
disciplined, and that is not how life works. You
For sure.
have you have
Yeah.
to understand what discipline is, and then you have to figure out what works for you to keep that discipline. That's the point I was trying to make.
Hundo P. Are you able to revive me? I don't know where you're at.
I'll come get you. My inventory filled up, so I
Okay.
have to go back and break everything, but I'll come revive you quick. Because you
No
don't want
worries.
to lose all your embers.
Yep. Yeah,
Ooh,
man.
where the hell? Oh,
This
there
is
you
good.
are.
I think I think one of the things that I would really like to do is as we continue to do these streams,
Yeah,
is obviously I want to get on these calls again. It's going to be a little bit of a merge because you've gotten into this routine now where like basically it's just much easier to schedule when it's just you because here's your
yeah,
schedule and go from there. Um, I think that once we get a little bit more on the page where if I can just get into some of these things, that'll be helpful. But
absolutely. We're gonna do
that
it for
that's a
sure.
big one for me. If we can be getting that going, and then my next big goal is just to your point, you were saying that one guy was just really good at marketing. He got Gary V into the Discord. Um,
Yeah,
I think that being able to do that for us is just getting the content out there on a wider distribution.
Yep.
And that's something I would like to be able to participate in because I can't always be there at a timed event. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
I think that's my main.
and this is the beauty of Web3 and community, right? Is so Tyler, who I've become a really good buddy with, our brands align so much that his community is willing to now and we've talked about this before. These are the people that we need, right? They
Mhm,
have no video experience, but they want to learn and they want to learn with the right people. Um, so I'm going to be talking to two of the community members this week, and they're willing to start cutting video for us and DSK, which is his
that's
company, for
huge.
free,
That's
right?
amazing. Yep,
And
partnerships.
so uh, between that and getting Edge, who was a great guest and has a vast knowledge of Web3 because he helped build Llamaverse,
Mhm.
him doing all the scheduling logistics and understanding how the space works, that's all we need, man. And that is what I think that's another thing that we've always gotten really excited about is that
Mhm.
I don't want a company of 50 people. I don't even really want a company of 5 people. I want it to be me and you and hire contractors, right? And
Yeah.
I'm firmly convinced we can do that in this day and age because of um, technology and ultimately because of Web3. And if you can find the people in communities that are willing to grow, especially in the beginning, and we had that during the bull market, but ironically, all of that dried up quickly because no one was making money anymore.
Mhm.
But now we're finding road warriors where the bull market is worse. The bear market, especially for NFTs, is worse than it's ever been, right? Dude, I don't know if you've looked. Mutants are below 2 ETH, bro. They're like 1.8 ETH. Bored apes might be below 10 ETH. I mean, those
That's
motherfuckers were 150 ETH when we were
yeah.
starting out, bro. 150 ETH. And so uh now we're finding road warriors that understand we're road warriors because we've been doing it for years. And that's the
Mhm.
thing that excites me because um, you know, whether or not we want to admit it, we've built something. I mean, dude, there's 27 people watching us right now because of and we haven't streamed. Like that would never happen on Twitch. And and
That's
and
true.
this is it because we haven't streamed in forever. What I'm getting at is we at least for the Web3 side of thing have found content market fit. Now
Yeah.
it's trying to figure out how to monetize that most effectively and continue to scale. And as we use our content that is universal and we can go into more and more segments, that's where it gets really powerful.
Do you see Web3 being a spring point or an end goal? And what I mean that in general, not necessarily just for us, because for us it is a spring point, but I mean
Yeah.
if just general people were asking or interested about Web3, especially because you've been in it
Hmm.
pretty good, I mean, this whole time.
Yeah.
In your opinion, is this what I mean by a goal is like big goals are I want, real estate properties or I want traditional paper, you know, either commodities like or paper like stocks, bonds, whatever it might be, mutual funds,
Right.
401k, Roth IRA, the traditional
Mhm.
investments, paper investments, or land. Do you see Web3 as a way to get you to essentially a more like a broader investment scheme that's been more established? Or do you see it becoming an end goal for people?
Yeah, that's a great question. And we actually OG said never give up, never surrender. Totally
Right.
agree. We actually
Agreed.
talked about this a little bit last night, and I think in the beginning, Web3 was for sure the end goal. It was a novel new technology. People thought this is it, and maybe a little too soon. Even the metaverse, right? The metaverse was like a thing. It was the end goal. That shit doesn't even exist now,
Yeah.
because that it's just not there yet. And I think people are a little ahead of the curve. I think those people still exist. And the people that think Web3 is the end goal are the people that are the devs and the builders that truly believe in blockchain is going to revolutionize the world, which I do too. Hence why I continue to be very excited about Web3, and never left the space, even with all the craziness that
Hmm.
has occurred. I think what has happened since the bull run, and then the bear, and then the semi bull, is that special, like, we're all gonna make it, help each other out, close knit community is gone.
Hmm.
Money has been made, the scammers are hardcore in, and now a main thing that drives the space is trying to get rich overnight and using Web3 as a get rich quick scheme to get the other things in life. Uh,
Mm.
what I think where we really have an opportunity, and I just talked to another guy today. He had built this super hyped gaming project called AI Arena. This was back when we were like heavy doing the podcast,
Hmm.
and we had this exact same conversation. He's like, he was one of the guys that are still sticking around, like I have in Web3, and those people, I think you're going to see a renaissance of the people that have stayed around, that truly believe in the technology, that are doing things with good intentions, link up together and kind of reframe the whole industry. And it's
Mm.
going to allow us to monetize and build companies in the right way, but through multiple different facets, right? We're from the content creation side. This guy's from a dev side. There's AI people. There are finance people. There are law people. There are business strategy. There's community management. There's all of those things, and those people that have understood the quote unquote 100,000 follower Instagram, sorry, Twitter influencers are gonna start going away. I mean, even today, even this week, um, more and more people are calling out these like beloved influencers, because they're finally just like, all right, listen, man, I don't need to see you pump another shit coin or whatever else you're getting paid
Yeah.
for to do, right? People are finally getting um, fed up, and it's cool to see. And so
Yeah.
I think there's gonna be a reversal here. I don't, I think I see it starting to happen a little bit, and we'll see, we'll see, and then ultimately uh why I think we need to, like, I would say the next 2 years for us to take advantage of Web3 is critical, because we are if we can continue to cement a brand, and still holistic plan, expand to real estate and outside of Web3,
Mhm.
but if we can cement our brand within Web3, and then the Googles and the big companies come in and do what we all know are going to do to this, which is, by the way, still an incredibly small market. Guess who they're going to be knocking on their doors, and guess where? Then, oh, Treasure Goblin. Uh,
Okay.
oh no, never mind. Oh yeah, there he is. You see him?
Yep.
Ah, son of a bitch! I need to freeze him. Uh, now we're talking about, Maddie and Mikey, and they've been around since 2020, 2021, and they've built a brand in the right way. Now we're talking about hundred thousands of dollars via content in the right way, not scamming people out of some shitcoin, right?
Yeah.
And I really do think that's the potential future for us and where it's headed. So it's just critical that we keep the gas down, and at those times when you wake up, and we've had these conversations multiple times, like, dude,
Hmm.
have we fucking done anything over the last 2 years? And it's like, yeah, no, we've actually done a shit ton. Um,
Well, we've been building relational equity, you know,
yeah, yeah, absolutely,
and
and the right way, you know.
yeah,
Uh,
that's why it's held true. It's just always slower, and that's
bosses
just the
up,
way it is.
bosses
Cool.
up,
Where?
south. So if you look on the map, you'll see a pulsating white circle.
There it is. I got it. I
Yeah.
tagged it. Thank you, sir.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's always slow if you want to do it right. Just like losing
I
weight,
know.
great health and wealth, similar way. You want to do
It's
it healthy,
hard.
you got to take it long. It's a
Yeah,
grind.
that's my favorite analogy by far, is just the um it's the analogy for crypto, right? And the oh, son of a bitch. How did I die? How did I die? Well, whatever. I didn't have that many embers. Great analogy for crypto, which is, back to what we were saying. Like, I don't want to be, I don't want you to think I don't believe in black. Like, listen, there's pretty black and white with weight, just fucking stop eating like an asshole and work out from time to time. Like, you don't even have to work out crazy every day. Just stop eating like an asshole and move, right?
Yeah.
But billions of dollars are spent
Oh, dude,
trying to circumvent that process, and it's the same thing
100%.
in web 3, is people are trying to circumvent having to do the long run and get rich quick overnight. It's just coming in
Yeah.
a different form, right?
100%, man. And it'll the truth is it'll never stop being that, right?
It will
There will
never, no.
always be a new special diet pill, and there will always be someone saying, "You know what? You should just eat healthy and exercise." And the consistent one's always been there, you know. It's
Uh-huh.
the way it is. Up,
Have you been getting uniques, by the way?
a couple. I think I've been getting mostly just what do you call
I
them?
just,
Ancient
I
legendaries,
just,
I think.
yeah. So uniques, that it's like a twisty,
Can you revive me by
yeah. Uh, where are you? Why do I not
oh,
see you?
somebody just got me.
Okay, that's why I don't see you. Yeah, look on my. Can you can't see,
I can't see your screen. No,
you can't see my
but I
stuff.
can.
So
You see
ancient
mine
legendaries are
like this. Sacred unique ring.
right. Well, so I'm saying that what it looks like before you pick it up. So the regular ones are just like a pillar straight up. The unique, they have like a spiral. They're like swirling almost,
Mm,
and they've got
okay.
more white color to them, so you can know before you look in your inventory if there's a
I
um
see what you mean.
if it's a
Yeah.
unique or not.
All right.
And I just got one. Booyah. What level, what items? Absolutely. OG. uh Good things take time. And this is the other thing that people talk about all the time, and this is also why I know what we have is extremely special. OG just made the comment, well, the market will correct itself sooner or later. That's the crazy thing. I don't give a shit about the market, because whether the market's up or down, people care about genuine human connection, and people want to hear the stories that we're cultivating out of people. Uh, I mean,
Yeah.
our guests have literally said it's been a therapeutic process for them. We've had hundreds of messages at this point that our conversation has shifted somebody's perspective and actually benefited their lives. We
Yeah.
don't, that the market can do whatever the hell they want, because that's not going to affect what our ultimate product is. And that's another reason why I continue to get excited, and another thing that keeps me going.
Truth is always something people will seek, and
Hmm.
but I think that to your point, relatability. I mean, it's just nice to know, like, hey, somebody else is going through this and has experienced it, and it's like I'm not crazy for thinking this.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
Because that's, dude,
It's huge.
it's easy to. I mean, well, we'll go back to our health analogy. You go into a gym, you're hanging around the 1% of people that do consistently work out. So
Right,
then the first thing you do is compare yourself to that 1%. Like,
right, right.
that sucks, right? And so when you get around people and you're like, wow, these people haven't figured it out either. And like they're thinking the same thing I'm thinking.
Yep,
It's
yep,
like, oh wait, that actually is beneficial and
yep,
healthy.
yep. And
And
I
it's
love that
big.
you brought that up, dude, because the thing that I always say too, um, is related to what you're saying. Crypto just said he lost 30 pounds listening to us. I don't know if that's true, but if that's true, that's amazing because I'm sure we have talked about weight loss and stuff from time to time, and maybe we're part of that motivation. But
That's
but
hysterical.
I think he's being funny. But at the same time, uh, people have sent me some very. I mean, I'll never forget, man. One of the guys that we had on, this guy Tyler that has become a really good buddy. There was a comment that said literally, I wish I would have, been addicted to drugs and alcohol. I wish I would have had two people like you in my life. Things would have been a lot different back then, but happy to have found you now. This podcast made a huge impact for me.
Yeah.
That's what matters, man, at the end of the day. Um, but what I was getting at, what you were saying is relatability. And that is really, I think, my favorite part about it. And I repeat this often because I don't think we can say it enough is uh, listen, back to the weight loss, and now we're talking about entrepreneurship. There are pretty tried and true principles that make good leaders and make good entrepreneurs, and that is the taking the risk, the discipline, the persistency that we talked about, understanding people, blah 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 blah, right?
Yeah.
But the relatability part with our content comes in is those concepts are now covered by all walks of life all over the world. And last night, for instance, we talked about the same principles, but we talked about it from a guy that was an art teacher in the hood of Denver and still thought that way. So there will be an art teacher that watches that podcast that we had last night and might hear a tidbit, and it will click for them because that person is relatable to
Yeah.
them. Because me
Yep.
and you can't be relatable
Of
to
course.
everybody.
I couldn't be.
But we continue to have people from all over the world, which is another thing why I've loved the crypto journey. Is I never thought in a million years I'd be talking to a guy about building a radio station in Nigeria, but guess what? I have. And it just amazes me the people that continue to set up meetings to have conversations because they're interested in what we're doing. And it excites me, man.
Yeah. Well, and one, I think the nice things is that, yeah, the truth always finds its way out. And the truth is, we wouldn't have had as many podcasts as we did if we weren't doing something right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right, for
And
sure.
that, like, it seems obvious, but it's like, to your point, everybody that is on the podcast says the same thing. And
Yeah,
so that goes a long way. That's a big
yeah,
deal.
yeah. And that's another reason why OG said as it was the Nigerian prince, and it was like, no, it was a legit guy from Nigeria, which who was super super interesting human that had already been
That's funny.
building some, and that's the other thing, dude. Too is like, when we're talking even now, right? Like you can still make thousands of dollars off NFTs. And you want to talk about places in the world where 2 grand is literally a life changer?
Yeah.
Like we're able to provide that to people. Um, not only have we changed people's lives um, mentally, but I let's start doing a little bit of the math, and we have given away well over 6 figures of free NFTs.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
and we've done that, and it's
Dude, we did that with
changed.
just the PXN launch.
Right, and
I mean,
it's
you know what I mean?
changed people's lives. And that is just another really really powerful thing. Now it's hard sometimes because you're sending a digital asset. Most of these people are behind a screen. You don't really personally know them, uh, and you don't really see, like, I would say, the smile on their face or
Yeah.
seeing their life change. But we have done that, and it's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah, man. I 100% agree. I 100% agree. Hey, I also want to be cognizant of your time, Mikey. You said,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I gotta get. I'm so glad we're back doing this, man. And
yeah,
we're
me too.
gonna, just so everybody knows, we're gonna aim to do this once a week. In addition to, we're gonna continue to try to figure out the strategy for YouTube, and we'll continue to do the Web3 thing, and then ultimately, continue to figure out how to monetize and grow. But I think we have a lot of really good opportunity. But
I agree. And
why
we want to try to
not?
do this on Mondays, right?
Yes. So Mondays OG, Mondays at 3 p.m. or about the same time, about 3:15, 6:15 EST, to around 7:15. We'll be doing that, and so you can expect us weekly, and we'll just continue to jam out and share our thoughts, and you can come with as many questions as you want, and we'll do our best to answer them as best as we can. But this has been phenomenal, bro.
Yeah,
Phenomenal.
man. I really loved it. Dude, we are crunching right now. Good
I know,
grief.
bro. What is happening here? But I'll play a couple more minutes, buddy. But I'm gonna end the stream,
Sounds good, man.
and I'll just give you a call. Dude, OG, thank you for like the
Yeah,
thoughtful
man. So good to
questions
hear
and
from you,
sticking
OG.
around. And you want to talk about an OG? He literally is an OG. Like he was
OG.
one of the OGs that started following us when we were playing Diablo 3 and Elder Scrolls Online. So
Love it.
most of the people that know me in the Web3 world don't even know that I streamed video games, but freaking OG does. And by the way, OG has popped into Web3 streams and has commented and has given some really good questions as we're going through the interviews too. So it's been a beautiful thing to see. And OG, we will never not be thankful for you, brother. So
Yeah,
thank you
man.
so
Thank you
much,
so
man.
much. Thanks
Yeah.
for being a part of it.
Yeah, brother. And with that being said, we are going to call it a day. We will be back next Monday, streaming a little Diablo 4, hamming it up, talking about all things midlife. Mikey G, Matty Mints. Love you all. Later.
See you.